Okay, good morning. I wanted to do a walkthrough of my garden that I will sadly be leaving behind when I relocate from Denver to Atlanta next month. So these are beautiful yellow pansies that I planted last year. They were marked as annuals when I bought them, which means they're only supposed to last 1 year, but I let them sit through the winter and they just started blooming beautifully this spring, so evidently they're perennials. And they also spread. And then we go into a row of cosmos plants that are just starting to flower now, as you see one that has flowered and one that is about to flower. A beautiful begonia in the pot. Coming around, this is echinacea. I planted last year. They're perennials. They did not flower last year, but this year they survived 2 or 3 hailstorms and they are flowering beautifully. I don't know if you can see the bumblebees that there's one buzzing around. They love these. And then these are called bells of Ireland. Just a very pretty flowering plant that I discovered a pack last year at Walmart and decided to plant a few seeds, and come to find out they come back every year and they spread very much. So, and as you can see, I didn't plant any sunflower plants this year, so evidently this one came from a seed that was just lost and stayed in the soil all winter and popped up in April, I think. And now it's definitely over 6 feet tall and just looking very, very, very beautiful. I planted some corn, which it doesn't look like I'm going to get any ears off of it this year, but it's a pretty sight in the front yard. Along the fence you can see some purple morning glories. They're vining and creeping along the fence. And they are, I didn't plant those this year either, so they came back from last year. And morning glories, they bloom in the morning, the purple pretty flowers, and then they shrivel up during the day. But every morning they present their glory, and I guess that's why they're called morning glories. Have a few creeping along behind the plants in the front here. I have some more cosmos. You see those blooming there, and they really have pretty fern-like green leaves. That's the best part I like about them. This is pampas grass, Pampas, and it's in its second year, doing very, very well. More bells of Ireland. Some gladiolus that I didn't plant this year. Evidently I didn't pick all the bulbs out of the ground last year, and so they're probably not going to flower, but they did come up. And the spike leaves look very pretty. There's some more echinacea over there. You can see I mulch on a budget, so these are maybe they don't look as pretty as things you buy at the store, but these are crumbled leaves that I got 2 or 3 bags from my neighbor 2 years ago. So, and I just crumble them and use them as mulch. and they keep the moisture, they keep the soil moist up underneath, and they also prevent a lot of widespread weed growth. So I like it. Pretty echinacea again. Hate to leave them behind, but I can always plant more wherever I go. Here in the pot we have some blue forget-me-nots that are perennial. I didn't plant those this year, I planted them last year. So a pretty burst of blue on the edge of the garden. This is a long row of irises. They already bloomed and flowered, and they were purple, and they smelled so good. Whenever you walked past, you could smell them. So they bloomed for the year. They'll bloom again next year. My neighbor across the street, you can see her garden somewhat. She gave me a few last year, and I planted them, and as you can see, they definitely spread and get thicker in there. And probably the new tenant is going to have to thin them out next year. But that is for her to do. And then we come over to the two flower beds that have a lot going on. This is my third year of the flower beds. In the front we have some violas, the purple and yellow, and I bought 2 6-packs from Walmart of these violas 3 years ago, and from those 12 small plants, all of these have come back. I think they were marked as annuals too, but they are obviously perennials, and they come back hardier and prettier every year, and they definitely spread. And so you see in here we have some more of the bells of Ireland. I forgot what these plants and flowers are, but they have a pretty burst of yellow and orange. They're also perennials. These are in their second year. And you can see, I think you can see, the bees like these as well. Again, I mulch on a budget. I use grass clippings to help keep the soil moist up underneath and stop so much weed growth. This is a yellow snapdragon. Very pretty. It's kind of, I think they were supposed to be annuals as well, but they come back every year stronger and just more beautiful. That one is blooming yellow. This one bloomed and has spent blooms on them. I trimmed it down a little bit. It may bloom again before the season is over. What else do we have? Oh, this is a Dusty Miller. And once again, when I bought it, it said annual, but I have found that it comes back every year, more beautiful, bigger, bushier, and what I do is just when the season is ending, you trim it down a little bit, but not too much, and then I mulch around it for the winter. And that mulch protects the roots somewhat underneath from all the frost and snow that's going to come during the winter. And then in the spring, after the last frost has passed, you trim it down and you trim all the dead leaves off, and you see the green leaves underneath starting to bloom for the new springtime season. This is some ornamental grass that this is the third year of it, and had to take a bunch of the dead stalky leaves out yesterday, but it's still very pretty as it's draping over gracefully. So this is my garden. I love my garden. I forget forget what the little spiky things are called. You see one with a yellow bloom on it. They bloom during the day. They come out more with red and yellow and orangish flowers even in the heat of the day, and then they shrivel up at night. So, once again, my lovely garden, the sunflower from a distance, the cosmos acting as a border to the little seating area over there. And on the porch I have another pot with another beautiful begonia, which is definitely an annual. It will not survive the winter. So I just think it's very, very pretty with all the pink leaves nestled in the pink flowers nestled in the deep green leaves there, and the rocks for the border. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed my garden as much as I have enjoyed taking care of it, planting it, nurturing it, and just really falling in love with it. Peace.